Greetings, brothers and sisters. Georgia Guidestone's explosion. There's a news story. I'm mostly covering it because I'm getting lots of messages. Georgia Guidestone's explosion blasts destroys a large portion of the monument. There are these Georgia Guidestones that have stuff on it like the ideal population is 500,000 and things that are New World Order, Illuminati type of things. And they have been, long hated by people in the truth community. Georgia Guidestone's monument, dubbed America's Stonehenge, damaged in bomb attack. I guess their whole stone blew off. That would be some substantial explosives. That's some substantial explosives. You can see here. It's a helicopter view. There's stuff there. It's a better view there. So it looks like one or two stones are destroyed, a place to park. I mean, it's in some rural road. I don't know who owns the land. I mean, there's been a lot of speculation about it. But this is not something I approve of, obviously, right? Because it means nothing. It's, they had to call in a bomb squad, and this will be some big investigation and whatever. And, it doesn't help anything, right? I mean, it's not like, the Georgia Guidestones are responsible for everything that's happening, or, it's just a symbol, and, it's just like protests. It doesn't do anything, but ends up hurting people in the truth community or whatever it is, right? I mean, this probably won't, but it's this kind of thing that it causes a backlash. Newsweek: historic explosion at historic Georgia Guidestones prompts bomb team response. Why is it historic? How is it historic? What is it? How is it a part of history? But anyways, like I said, I don't approve of this type of action. It's counterproductive, and I mean, very few people. You have to go out of your way to go see these things, right? I have no interest in them, and now I mean, the economy's still going to collapse, right? Like nothing's going to stop the stuff that's going to happen from happening, But it is what it is. So I just want to add this. This is a very high school-esque. Like your high school, some of your kids in your high school goes and steals the mascot of, or does vandalism or does something, to the other high school or whatever it is. And you celebrate like you won something, but, it's like you always lose something. Like in my high school, there was a senior Christmas play that was put on every year. And the year before my senior year, they rolled out condoms. They had remember they had these Saturday Night Live has these characters named the Coneheads that were aliens, and so they did something with they brought out condoms. They did a few things. There was a swear. There was one kid who's a little bit crazy and went off script, and the principal canceled our senior Christmas play, even though we had nothing to do with it, right? And maybe she was wanting to do that anyway, because each year was getting a little bit worse. But they made some inappropriate jokes, and they felt like they got away with something. But then it was, something that was taken away from everybody else, right? Like there's just like when you're doing something that you consider work, you got to say, what are the objectives? Like, what are the goals? How is this going to play out? Like I was talking about these celebrities that were protesting the Roe v. Wade stuff, right? They're protesting in D.C. and in Hollywood and California. I mean, only to get attention, because it's not going to affect the Supreme Court ruling, right? Like that's not going to, whatever. I mean, they're thinking, yeah, it'll change voting or whatever it might be. But it's something that your actions aren't going to affect anything to do with the rules that are now being forced on you, right? And so blowing up the Georgia Guidestones is going to have zero effect. The only possible effect is something negative. And so people in the truth community might be feeling like, yeah, you know, like you're in high school and some kids did some vandalism to the school and everyone thinks it's funny. But, you know, we're adults now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is, you know, childish behavior. I mean, if it was done, it could have been some, you know, it could have been some done by the intelligence community. I mean, who knows who actually did it, right? In terms of, like, you know, if it was done by people who are actually against it, or maybe it was done by the government, who knows, right? So, you know, like these things, just like trolling comments, and it's just adding more bad energy to our already sucky world. And speaking of bad energy, let's move to Alec P. Baldwin. So this brings me to Alec P. Baldwin. One of my viewers pointed this out. And so I'm not going to show you his post because there might be some issue with it, but it's an arrest. It's some video of an arrest of somebody who was involved in a recent crime that's been covered on the national news, right? And Alec Baldwin said this: "This kid is a full-on psycho, yet they treat him like he rear-ended their car." That's how he's categorizing the arrest. Meanwhile, this person, another person, is shot 60 times dead. This is the great problem in the U.S. There is a set of rules for white suspects. Oh, I guess this is for, he's talking about a person of color who was arrested and shot 60 times. This is a great problem in the U.S. There's a set of rules for white suspects and a completely different set of rules for a piece of crap suspects. Now, would you categorize yourself as one of those white piece of crap suspects, Alex? I mean, Alec, right? Let's read it in his Whispers voice. "This kid is a full-on psycho, yet they treat him like he rear-ended a car. Meanwhile, JW is shot 60 times dead. This is the great problem in the U.S. There's a set of rules for white suspects and a complete different set for piece of crap suspects." Because he was holding a firearm, he fired a firearm that shot a coworker, right? And it looks like he's going to get off scot-free. His career has been damaged somewhat. His brand has been damaged somewhat. But for the most part, you know, I mean, he was producer on the movie and, you know, seemed to be more responsible for what happened than anybody else, right? Considering he was holding the gun. And yet he's talking about privilege, right? White privilege. Like he has celebrity white privilege, right? Like he has leading man, you know, somebody who just based on their appearance is going to get privileges, right? And then also being a celebrity on top of it. Like Alec Baldwin is the, you know, is just somebody who exemplifies privilege, and then he's going to talk about that on Instagram like in a clueless way. I mean, no ability to self-perceive. Just an absolute, you know, an absolute fool. Let's just run the montage anyway. Let's do the shooting montage.
I'd light up a couple usually when I was working, because I'm so nervous when I'm shooting to get the job done. When I was shooting, or, you know, just stupid behavior. When I'm shooting.
Click with, I don't know what words to use today, but if they click with them.
I want to apologize. I'm sorry that Vladimir Putin has effed with me again. Message to say how sorry I was and shooting famous cinematographers. Message to say how sorry I was and shooting famous cinematographers. And then the gunshot, as you all know, the cinematography.
Isn't marriage a gunfight sometimes?
Okay, so I was editing this video, and one of my viewers sent me this. This is Hilaria J. Baldwin, and she's upset about something. She's kind of, you know, she gets upset every once in a while and posts on Instagram.
"I'm going to share some abusive comments that I get with you, and the purpose is to know that you're not alone."
She's going to share some abusive comments that she gets so that you know that you're not alone. So all of you that are out there who have faked a accent, who have appropriated a culture, married an A-list celebrity, and then, you know, put out a profile of yourself of how wonderful you and your life are on Instagram. All of you who are pushing these narratives, and the narrative falls apart because you were faking an accent the whole time. And then your husband shoots a cinematographer, a coworker, and then, you know, his past actions of being political and being arrogant and narcissistic and unlikable, and his temper all come into play, and you get hammered and your narrative falls apart. Yeah, she wants you to know you're not alone, right? Like, all of you have suffered those same kind of issues.
These comments used to make me want to kill myself because you
Wow, she's going there.
feel misunderstood. They say the most ridiculous, outlandish, untrue things in the world.
Most outlandish, untrue things in the world. And they make you want to kill yourself. Come on, like, it's so manipulative, right? Like, this is just, you know.
And you start to feel like you have to justify yourself, you know? And in this world of information, and the people can twist things and turn things and cut things together and splice them, you feel that you constantly need to give an explanation.
Because a bunch of strangers that you have been trying to feed a narrative, a fake fairy tale narrative of your family and your life on Instagram, these people that you don't know, you have to tell them that all these things that they realize about you that are true are fake, right? Fake, 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 fake.
Fake, 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 fake. And one of the things that I've learned after being so torn apart so many times is that you don't have to.
You don't have to. And, you know, the best way to do that is do a video where you're explaining yourself on Instagram. That's the best way to show everybody that you don't have to do that, is to actually do it, even though you know you don't have to.
And that you are fine just as you are. And you don't
You're perfect just as you are.
owe anything to anybody. Just be kind, be good, be kind, be good.
Be kind and be good. Just fake like you're kind and you're good, even though you're really not. And just be good and kind, and you don't have to explain anybody anything, even though I'm going to explain it right here. And what's happened with the internet and anonymity is that people have bad thoughts, right? People think whatever they think within themselves, right? And pretend to be something else on the outside. But the internet with an anonymity gave people the ability to express negative things inside themselves without suffering the consequences, which is what this is all about, right? And so for her to say, be kind, be nice, well, that's just fake. That's not, you know, are you kind? Are you nice? Right? Anybody can pretend to be for some period of time, but are you? Like, what's on the inside? Like, everyone knows what's on the inside, right? What, you know, what the thoughts you have. Everyone knows the thoughts they hide from other people and don't want to express, right? And her whole Instagram page is like faking what her life really is, because it's just some, you know, glorified Hollywood fairy tale we know is a sham.
No harm. And these kinds of comments are very harmful and cause incredible mental damage and make people want to kill themselves.
Anybody we know? Like, what do you... It's so emotionally manipulative and greasy, right? Because, you know, I mean, the victim consciousness and the rest of it. Everybody knows that the internet sucks. Everyone knows people are mean on the internet. Everyone knows that you'll say mean things to you. And everyone has to learn to deal with it, or you go off. You don't have to be on social media. You don't have to, right? Especially after the scandals you've been through, and what you're still trying to perpetrate is something that nobody believes in anymore, because they don't believe in you because you faked an accent, right? And she's playing the suicide card. You know, I lived with this for years. You know, two people in my life, one for 18 years, who would threaten self-abuse or suicide as a way to control behavior and control social dynamics, right? People who often threaten suicide as a way to get people to do something, right? If you do this, I'll kill myself. If you don't stop doing this, I'll, you know, it's like a way to control other people's behavior. And you have to take it seriously. And, you know, she's threatening this, or she's implying this for sympathy or whatever psychological twisted psychological reasons she's doing this or saying this. She has a kid in her belly, supposedly. I mean, this is what it ends up being about, right? I'm in the editing process, so I know where this is going. It ends up being about people saying that she's not really pregnant, a lot of it. But she supposedly has a baby in her belly. That's the official story. And she has, 5 kids, 6 kids now? And, so she's got a bunch of young kids. She has no business talking about how people leave her mean comments to her videos where she's trying to brag about how great her life is as a celebrity's wife, right? And that she gets these comments and makes her want to kill herself. She can't be having those thoughts, right? You have kids. You have a responsibility. If it's that bad, then don't post stuff on the internet. Why do you have to be on social media? You don't have to be, right? You have your life. So, I mean, that's what social media is. We know it. And, to be that manipulative and throw something like that out, the suicide card, is just completely whack.
So I want you to know that you're not alone.
You're not alone. She's with you. This is all about you. It's nothing to do with her and her feelings. She was all about you.
I want to thank you, those of you who stand in storms with me. And I want you to know that I'm always there to stand in the storms with you, too.
She just shook her head no. She's not there for you.
I go to education to get informed.
She goes to education to get informed. What education do you go to?
And really understand why women do this to each other.
Why do they do this to each other?
And, I'm going to talk about that more in the future, but the basic concept is that we come from a repressed group.
You're a repressed group, and that's what causes women to be real biatches.
Being in a repressed group means that our animal instincts get triggered and we go into fight, flight, or fawn.
Your animal instincts are triggered. Your animal instincts. You go on Instagool and you're in a repressed group, and you get your animal instincts force you to go to your keyboard and force you to come up with something mean to say, and you type it into your keyboard and you press enter, all because of your animal instincts that are happening, because of your repressed group and because men are so mean to you.
Because we feel like we're not going to have enough resources. So this already puts us in terms of that we're competing with each other. You're
competing with each other over resources. Her and her $60 to $80 million that her husband has, and the 2 houses and the multiple kids and the nannies and all the other opulence that they live in. And, you're fighting over Hilaria's resources. She's stealing your resources. And the only way you can get back at her and compete is if you leave a nasty trolly comment, right?
We grew up with mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. And when we think the mirror says someone else, we feel like we have to destroy that person.
Did you hear what she just said? What she's just said was that all these women, they go to the mirror, mirror on the wall, and they say, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? And the mirror says, Hilaria Baldwin, right? Hilaria J. Baldwin. That's what she's saying. She's just saying that all these women who are trolling her are, going to the mirror and saying, mirror, mirror, and who's the fairest? And then the mirror saying she is, right? And that's why she's getting trolled.
Like we're not going to have enough resources. So this already puts us in terms of that we're competing with each other. We grew up with mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. And when we think the mirror says someone else, we feel like we have to destroy that person.
And that person, that person right there.
And trust me, the mirror says you every single time.
Trust me, the mirror said you every single time. That's not how mirrors work, Hilaria. I guess in the magical land of Boston, Spain, in the fairy tale kingdom of Boston, Spain, where she grew up, a mirror is always going to say you, but mirrors actually just reflect back what you're going to see, right? You make a determination. You're looking in the mirror, and you're making the determination of what you see, right, when you look in the mirror. If you don't like what you see, it's not the mirror's fault. The mirror isn't casting judgment. The mirror is just reflecting back what you are, right? This is, part of the, philosophy of the heartfulness meditation, and meditation in itself is like looking in a mirror. You're going inside and you're looking at what you are inside. If you don't like what you see, you change it, right? And so your life is a mirror. You get feedback from your life and telling you, oh, you're this or that, or you're not this, you're not that, whatever it is, right? I mean, not just troll comments, but just life in general. And your life is always mirroring back the things you need to change. And if there's something you need to change, right? If somebody leaves you a hostile comment and it's true, then you need, it's true. You admit it's true. You don't like, it's some big deal. I mean, if somebody says something like you're arrogant or you're mean or whatever it is, right? That I'm mocking people. Yeah, I do all that. I'm not going to, oh no, I, justify it in some way. I mean, I can justify it to myself that I have, to dive into the belly of the beast and talk about things that are important to other people that aren't really important to me, like this thing, right? And so that's how I deal with it, and that's what I say, right? That's how I, feel about it, but I don't say it's some, higher developed behavior, right? You have to figure out what you're doing and whether you need to change something or whether you're not. You're always evaluating what you're doing, right? But that's not how mirrors work, where the mirror is telling you you're the fairest.
But our insecurities and our fears and all this crap that we listen to, we think it says someone else, but it really is you.
It really is you that's the fairest of them all. She doesn't get the concept of language. Of course, this is her first language. English is her first language, so I mean, I guess there's an excuse there. But there can only be one fairest, right? Fair, fairest. Everybody can be fair, I guess. I mean, it's stupid. Everyone could be beautiful, if you want to say it that way. It's because it's all, subjective. And everyone could be more beautiful, but there can only be the most beautifulest. And the most beautifulest can only be one, right? I mean, that's how it works.
And there's enough room for all of us.
There's enough room for all of us to be the fairest.
I want you to know that when you receive abuse, whether it's online or in person with someone you know or someone...
She's about to cry here.
Someone you don't know.
But she's over it. She's not letting it affect her anymore.
You never deserve it.
You never deserve it.
There's no way that people can justify treating you badly.
Okay, but that's on them. But in terms of what you deserve or don't deserve, I've said this before. It's part of the heartfulness meditation philosophy. The idea, Maxim 7, do not be revengeful for the wrongs done by others, right? Because treat them as heavenly gifts, which they are. Because they expose things in you. If they're telling you the truth or the truth comes through and you realize you have to change something, then what's the harm in that, right? People have such a hard time admitting they're not perfect, Like everyone has such a hard time admitting that, like, they have flaws and like it's just an absolute joke, right? And the abusive comments she's getting, I mean, they're not even abusive. Oftentimes they're just true because she appropriated a culture and she's putting out a fake narrative on her Instagram. That's not reality. Everybody puts out these fake narratives, these brands, these fake realities. And they try to make themselves look better than they are. And when you're a celebrity and that reality comes crashing down and the truth comes in and you still want to pretend like that didn't happen, that your husband didn't shoot a coworker and you didn't get caught appropriating a culture and faking an accent, then, there's issues that people are going to have, right?
It never makes a situation better. And if people truly want to address something, they want to make a situation better. Or do they just want to cause pain? I apologize to all of you, my sisters.
She's apologizing to your sisters.
When they came for me with their pitchforks and their torches and their nooses and...
What do you mean their comments? Their strangers came to you with their comments that you read for some reason? And what happened? Why are you apologizing for that?
And all of the things that they've done before in the past, and now we just do it to each other online. I apologize that I held my head down and I let them walk me down the plank.
She apologizes for putting her head down and going willingly with the trolls. as they came with their internet pitchforks.
Because I know I should have been stronger, and it allowed to feed into a system of just moving on to the next one and perpetuating more abuse.
More abuse. You're categorizing abuse as people telling you a negative truth, a hostile truth. Like, I don't agree in trolling comments. I say this all the time. I don't agree in saying negative things to people to try to hurt their feelings. I mean, there's no value in it. And, you know, I'm very clear about that. What I do here, like, I hope she doesn't watch this video, but I feel like everything I'm saying here is truthful. Like, is, you know, I mean, what I understand to be Hilaria Baldwin and what she's presented out there, I'm doing it in a humorous way. But I'm not, you know, I don't want to hurt her feelings or anybody's feelings. I hope she doesn't watch this. But, you know, that's ultimately her choice, right? But I wouldn't go to her Instagram and say any of these things because I'm not, you know, like, it's just wrong. Like, there's no reason to do that. Like, it's just, it is whatever it is. We can all have our opinions about people. But, you know, I'm not here to change her or make her feel bad or any of those things. I'm not, you know, this isn't about her, right? She's putting this thing out there and it's funny. And, you know, I mean, she's a part of the negative celebrity culture and all this fakeness and what I call Instagram, right? But she's characterizing these comments as being something they're not. They're not that big a deal if you're reality based, if you're, you know, if you're self-aware, like in a good way or a bad way. Just a little self-awareness would help her navigate the world of internet trolls.
Said before, I know who these people are, and that information has given me incredible peace. Because you just see, this is how these people are spending their free and what they think is anonymous time. Nothing's anonymous.
Whoa, she's getting dark here, like Alec threatening that Twitter user, right? Nothing's anonymous. She knows where you live. Hilaria, she's coming for you. She's coming for you, internet trolls. Nothing's anonymous, you internet trolls. Hilarious. She thinks it's hilarious that you spent all this time and energy making comments about her, writing comments about her, right? And then she paid private investigators and people on the internet to track you down. You know, but that was a wise use of her resources.
These people started coming for me the moment that it was news that I started dating Alec. For them, I was some young bimbo who was marrying up in the world and marrying somebody who was older, and the only thing could be that I was a whore.
Wait, who said such things? Who would think such things that you would say that out loud? Who would think that about you?
Who is focused on money and power and fame and all that kind of garbage.
Exactly. Like, you know, I mean, immediately as soon as she married him, she faded into the background. She didn't try to make herself a celebrity. She didn't fake an accent. She didn't perpetrate a fraud on the people of the internet in the world by pretending to be something she's not and get celebrity status of her own and be on Hollywood Insider as a reporter and write books and be on TV shows and get endorsements from people and use her fame in that way. She didn't do that at all, right? You know, let's roll the montage here.
Consider the source.
Oh, she's a white girl? Yes, I am a white girl. I am a white girl. And
so, for example, my wife's on the phone with her hairdresser or her friend. She's like, really? Okay, I can't wait to see you. That's going to be great. Fantastic. What time? 12 o'clock? My wife is from Spain. And she said, blah, blah, blah.
We have very few ingredients. We have tomatoes. We have, how do you say anything? Cucumbers. We have red pepper. We have, of course...
It's not easy, and I think part of it is that I'm in shape before I have a baby, and then I stay active when I'm pregnant, and I'm not trying to stay thin, I'm just trying to keep my circulation going and stretching and keep my muscle tone up, and then we're having a baby. It was a surprise, a wonderful surprise.
And one time at band camp...
It was a surprise, a wonderful surprise.
And one time at band camp...
It was a surprise, a wonderful surprise.
Well, there was a scream I heard, which is the scream that's normally reserved if there's a spider in the house on Long Island. I'm not exaggerating.
So the first part of the book is philosophy on how to live very namaste. I have 3 little babies. I live kind of a crazy life between work and them and everything else. So it's just, you know, how to stay calm and centered and deal with things that are coming at you. Then we could talk about food. Well, we're having a baby. How about that for a project?
Ay, ay, ay.
Cravings here. Okay.
Sí.
Ay, ay, ay.
Sí.
Ay, ay, ay.
Sí.
And the issue is that now it has become mainstream to do this to women. And we can all secretly look at information on our phones, and people who call themselves reporters and work for reputable places are using their power for evil.
You call that evil, the things that they're saying? Why is this evil, right? This is just, you know, it might not be nice, but it isn't evil. I mean, your accent changed. You sometimes had a Spanish accent. Sometimes you sound like a girl from Boston, right? You just saw it in the montage, and there's much more information out there, which your accent is changing all the time, right? You got caught faking something, and you didn't admit to it, and now you're like, what? Like, you know, this is what your reality is, right? Reading these trolling comments and denying the existence of, you know, a world where Boston is actually in America and not in Spain, like.
And tearing apart other people, especially women, and doing it in ways that is so barbaric and so something of the past and so anti-moving forward.
It's not moving forward where, you know, where you can live in a world where Boston is in Spain, right? Like,
equality. And as you can see in these comments, and this woman particularly goes after my daughters and talks about their appearance, and I don't want it to happen to you anymore. I don't want it to happen to me.
that's why I'm posting this about me, because it's really about you.
And I definitely don't want it to happen to our children. So here we go.
Here we go. Here are the comments. Here are the alleged comments. There are pitchforks incoming here. They're coming with their pitchforks and their torches, and they're abusing poor Hilaria. Let's see these comments here. You had to put yourself in there, didn't you? Right? Okay. Definitely bitchy, right? Mean. Anything to get out of sleeping with Alec. She has your ears before procedure, that is. You know, not a nice thing, right? I mean, you know, it's a baby, but the baby isn't going to read this thing. And so, you know, it is what it is. But, I mean, that's not cool, obviously. That's definitely mean-spirited. But certainly that isn't a pitchfork, right? That isn't a torch. So fake. No pregnancy glow. Your belly size fluctuates all the time. You're hilarious. You know, so there's a lot of people who doubt that she is actually pregnant. Oh, no, did you have a miscarriage? You lost your baby. Because you got caught lying in the past. You are somebody who committed a fraud on your Instagram, pretend to be something you're not. And so this is legitimate, right? This isn't, you know. Your bump is getting smaller. Where'd that bump disappear to? Is this her walking the plank? Like, is this what she said is making her suicidal? She knows whether she's pregnant or not, right? She knows whether she's pregnant or not. If she's legitimately pregnant, and I don't know and I don't care. But if she's legitimately pregnant, then all these comments are, you know, I mean, I deal with comments like this and I make fun of them. I enjoy it, right? Some of them even make me laugh. And so this is what she's saying is so abusive, right? Either it's true or it's not. If it's not true, you know, where are you going to? Some dark place, right? You're going to try to show them that you're actually pregnant? Is that why you got on Instagram and did an ultrasound? Fake. You just don't have that glow, the glow that goes with pregnancy. How many moon bellies do you have? Where is the bump? Quit lying. You're just making yourself look like a ridiculous idiot. Again, none of these comments are nice, but, I mean, these aren't things that you should lose any sleep over, right? Aren't you sick of always having to put those damn moon bumps in all of the time? It must be exhausting, poor thing. Another faker. Hey, where's your belly? Do you teach them to spread your lies too? Eating disorder on full display. Disgusting. Well, you know, that's not cool saying that about a kid. I mean, you know, hopefully that isn't the case. I don't think that is. You know, I don't know what that's all about. But really, it's just, you know. But again, I mean, this is just, you know, the internet. Go drink some wine. It's okay. No baby in there. Something here I don't understand what this is. Ugly. Oh, they said ugly. She needs a haircut, poor kid. Self-absorbed. Eating disorder lady. This one doesn't have anything here that I can see. Carmen needs a haircut. Orphan girl. Accept these message requests from Jan 7013 Jan. Okay, this back to Hilaria. Again, I mean, that wasn't them coming with pitchforks. Like, just think about how dramatic she is. And she's in tears and saying she's been reduced to suicide because people are saying that she might not be pregnant. She's faking it, right? She's, a liar and a faker. And she's presented this world that she's presented where she's glorified her life, where she's tried to show off how wonderful she is and how wonderful her life is, which is what people do on Instagram. And we know that not to be the case. Alec has a temper. He's narcissistic. He's selfish. She is. And, she puts her kids out there. I mean, she uses her kids as a way to glorify herself. I mean, she says how horrible the internet is, and then she stirs up her kids to that very same internet, right? She talks about how horrible people are. She's not even talking about the pervs and things like this. And she's putting her kids out there, and it's not necessary. Like, they're rich. Why do you have to go out there and tell everyone in the world how great your life is, right? I mean, that's on you. And the fact that people don't want to hear it, and then when you get caught and be deceiving people, and there's a backlash and you don't accept it, and you come out here and play like you're a victim and say that you're doing it for everyone else's benefit. I believe somebody sent this to me. I didn't see it on New York Post for some reason. Inside giant flying luxury hotel that can stay in the air for years. A giant nuclear-powered flying hotel, complete with a gym and swimming pool, is set to carry 5,000 passengers in unparalleled luxury. A new CGI video details how the AI-piloted Sky Cruise plans to remain airborne for months at a time while using docking to take on passengers or drop off anyone on board. The futuristic hybrid between a plane and a hotel, which has 20 engines powered by nuclear fusion, is designed to never land. Well, that doesn't sound like it's going to end well. I mean, it even looks like the Hindenburg. Oh, there's a big picture of it, right? Look at all these engines and big bar here. There's a swimming pool area. I mean, it's just like some yacht in the sky. I mean, I guess you got a good view, right? You're looking out here. But, I don't see a point in it, right? I don't think it'll ever come to be, but, shoot for the stars, right? Okay, so I just posted a long video, an 8-hour video on my journey series, so another video on my other channel. I'm going to end this thing here. More stuff, but there's always more. I can wait till tomorrow. Urkel. There's some Urkel news. Anyways, only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely reporting from the Apocalypse and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.